Live from the Ball State News Center, this is NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Welcome to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jason Poor.
And I'm Ashley Lehue. Thank you for joining us.
A Muncie house fire claimed a young life Tuesday evening. NewsLink Indiana's Jake Adrianson was at the scene today, where people have started paying their respects.
While a single broken window is the only sign of damage here on Meeker Avenue, there is no question that something much more precious has been lost. A stuffed animal and a candle sit outside 2404 Meeker Avenue. They serve as a memorial to the 5-month-old boy that lost his life here Tuesday night. Authorities say Jensen Wallace, born last September, was sleeping in the front room of the home when the fire broke out. His parents were watching TV in a separate room when they smelled the smoke. But even with a fully manned fire truck nearby, the family and authorities were unable to save the child. Passers-by like Virginia Riley may not have known the family, but were still interested in paying their respects. Did you know the people that lived here?
No, sir, I didn't. I just saw it, and I was just waiting to stop and see if we could put a memorial out there for the baby. My home burned to the ground 2 years ago. Muncie's bad about it.
Neighbor John Hawk says he was the second person on the scene. While he preferred to remain off camera, Hawk says he'll never forget the mother's screams. In Muncie, Jake Adrianson, NewsLink, Indiana.
Delaware County Coroner Scott Hahn says the infant likely died of smoke inhalation. The child's pregnant mother showed similar symptoms and was taken to Ball Memorial Hospital. The child's father was treated for burns to his hands after attempting to rescue his son. This fatality comes just a day after 37-year-old Ty Harmon lost his life in a similar Muncie house fire.
Tomorrow, Second Harvest Food Bank of East Central Indiana is hosting a food drive. It will be at the parking lot across from Borg Warner on West Kilgore Avenue. Supplies will be given out as long as they last, but how long will that be is the question. NewsLink reporter Mackenzie Clark has more.
Boxes, volunteers, and contributions. There is a lot that goes into the Second Harvest tailgate before the big day. Jennifer Hartzler, the Director of Food Procurement and Volunteers, oversees the process.
We're just trying to make sure that we get the food that we have in store out to people that need it.
Each car will be given 3 bags of food representing the 3 generations in each family. Clarence Alexander oversees the event the day of. His only concern, the weather.
We usually, we normally get probably about within close to 1,100 families. When it snows, we probably lose about 200 to 300.
Delaware County is one of 7 counties to receive the tailgate, although due to high poverty rates, Delaware gets it twice.
We may get more, we may get less. So we try and, have a general amount that we want to give away, and sometimes we end up giving more away at the end because we don't want to take it back to the plant.
Second Harvest does give the food until it's gone, but some people just can't risk it.
Some of them starts lining up there at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they don't start the giveaway till what, 10?
9, I think.
9 or 10.
Yeah, 9, yeah. Yeah, there's some out there.
Yeah, overnight even.
Yeah, stand out there waiting.
Yep.
Second Harvest will begin distributing food starting at 9 a.m. and go until supplies run out.
If anyone can't make the drive or arrives too late, Second Harvest encourages them to visit their local food pantry.
Ball State held its Cardinal Job Fair today from 11 a.m. to 3 in Worthen Arena. NewsLink Indiana's Kelsey asked employers what they are looking for in new hires.
Students filed into Worthen Arena this afternoon with high hopes for their futures. District Manager of Retail Sales for Verizon Wireless, Arlie Mimbella, describes what he looks for when hiring students.
We want folks that are passionate about what we sell, the same passion you have for the product that you use every day in your everyday life, bring that to the store.
Mimbella believes Ball State students possess that special quality to work in his business.
We've hired several students who are currently at the school now, working part-time at our local store here in Muncie. So it's been a great relationship with the university to be able to do these job fairs. We've hired several part-time students. We've hired graduates as well. We've got a lot of Ball State. So it's like a Ball State family at our local store here in Muncie.
Trying to find an internship. A lot of people have been talking to me about full-time employment, but I mean, as far as anything, I'm trying to find an internship around Indianapolis for communications, marketing, or digital media design, depending on whatever will fit on a resume.
In Muncie, I'm Kelsey.
Thanks, Kelsey. If students have questions about internships or employment, you can visit the Career Center at Lucina Hall, room 220. Now, Ashley, a lot of people are looking for new jobs, but I'm just looking for some new weather.
I completely agree. Ellen, can you tell us what's in store?
Absolutely. Well, new weather is exactly what you're going to get, but I don't know if it's the weather you actually want. Currently, it's 31 degrees, which is pretty nice for the most part for winter in February. Winds from the west at 14 miles per hour, but it's a little bit chilly because of that wind factor. So it's about 21 degrees is what it feels like. Looking around the state of 28 in Lafayette, 30 in Bloomington, and 30 in Kokomo. Now, things to look forward to in the show. It's a sharp cool down in the weather, so we are going to see those temperatures go down, and definitely the weather is changing. Not to mention many chances of snow throughout the week, and probably the most important thing, your Valentine's Day forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ellen. Now, Ball State President Paul Ferguson pushed for entrepreneurial learning for all majors at the State of the University address. Executive Director of Ball State's award-winning Entrepreneurship Center, Dr. Michael Goldsby, spoke with us today from a conference in Naples, Florida. He expects new classes to be inserted into the university's core requirements for students, faculty, and senior leadership.
Entrepreneurial learning is more about going out and trying to get into the field and find out what's really going on, and then be open to what you find, and then shape ideas that you hope have a lasting impact on a company or on a community or on a nonprofit group or a classroom. But if you really want to boil it down, it all comes down to opportunity. So it's looking for these opportunities to improve on things in the world.
Jace Crean's parents have worked in small business his entire life, and he's studying entrepreneurship at Ball State. He describes the president's new plan as brilliant.
Entrepreneurship really is the adjective to describe a new and upcoming person who understands how to create, but it's beyond creation. You know, it's beyond just development. It's beyond just founding something. Entrepreneur, and to be an entrepreneur, is something that really just can't be described unless you're sort of immersed in that environment.
Goldsby says they are already working on a certificate with the School of Music in order to add entrepreneurial aspects. He hopes this approach will be applicable to all colleges.
Coming up, the shooting tragedy of 3 Muslims in North Carolina has many people speculating on a motive, but one person is saying religion might not be the factor.
And President Obama spoke today on authorizing military force against ISIS. We'll have that story after the break.
From the Ball State News Center, you're watching NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Welcome back. 3 Muslim students were fatally shot in an apartment near the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill campus on Tuesday. 46-year-old Craig Stephen Hicks is being held for 3 accounts of first-degree murder after he turned himself in to the police later that night. The 3 victims are a husband, wife, and her sister.
Hicks' wife Karen says the man was motivated by a parking dispute, not the victim's faith. A former roommate of one of the victims, Dea Shadi Barakat, says Hicks often complained that the men parked in spaces designated for visitors. That roommate, Ahmad Ahmad, says Hicks came to their door with a gun on his hip and told them not to park there. An attorney for Karen Hicks says Craig Hicks had a concealed weapons permit. President Obama's plan to fight ISIS is heading to the Hill. He's asking Congress to authorize military force against the terrorist group controlling large parts of Iraq and Syria. Polo Sandoval reports on what may be the most important vote for lawmakers in more than a decade.
We are going to degrade and ultimately destroy this terrorist group.
A draft authorization and a letter from President Obama are in the hands of lawmakers. The plan is a blueprint for a more clearly defined campaign against ISIS.
This is a difficult mission, and it will remain difficult for some time. But our coalition is on the offensive. ISIL is on the defensive, and ISIL is going to lose.
The joint resolution allows the U.S. military to go after ISIS even outside the battlefields of Iraq and Syria. It calls for a 3-year military operation and would limit any potential deployment of ground troops.
I'm convinced that the United States should not get dragged back into another prolonged ground war in the Middle East. That's not in our national security interest, and it's not necessary for us to defeat ISIL.
These conditions may not satisfy some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle.
The president's point is that he wants to dismantle and destroy ISIS. I haven't seen a strategy yet that I think will accomplish that.
It will extend a year and a half at least into the next president's term. And a lot of my Republican colleagues here have made it pretty clear that they want to put boots on the ground.
Congress will vote on the resolution as the influence of ISIS grows in the Middle East. A top counterterrorism expert says 20,000 foreign fighters have joined the ranks of ISIS from 90 different countries. In Washington, I'm Polo Sandoval reporting.
The last time a U.S. president made a request for military authorization was 13 years ago when Congress voted yes to a war in Iraq. This current plan sent by President Obama today would repeal that 2002 authorization.
And as for government changes at the college level, Ball State student government elections are in full swing. The 3 vice president candidates are gearing up for tomorrow's debate. This year, 3 groups of 4 people have announced their candidacy for Student Government Association. Rich U. Abbey of the Atlas slate speaks up about Ball State's need for change.
We all know that Ball State is ready for a new direction with a new presidency and a new Ball State. We're ready to take this campus somewhere new.
Wesley Crouch hits on cardinal direction's 4 main points.
That BSU we can do. And our platform is BSU can be active, BSU can be visionary, BSU can advocate, and BSU can be safe. And we have multiple points within those categories explaining our platform.
Momentum has 9 platform points, including an international buddy system and expanding the housing and athletics partnership. Vice President candidate Banu Distova hopes to speak about them at tomorrow's debate. Students are encouraged to attend the vice presidential debate tomorrow at 8 p.m. in the Letterman Building, room 125.
Frigid cold temperatures may be returning.
And what will your Valentine's Day forecast look like? Stay tuned to find out.
From the Ball State News Center, you're watching NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Welcome back. Now, Ashley, Valentine's Day is this weekend, and a lot of people have some high expectations.
Yeah, love is in the air, but what does that air feel like? Ellen?
Well, love is definitely in the air, and while our hearts are warm, the air is going to be cold. It's going to be chilly. But on average, we experience temperatures around 37 for a high, 21 for the low. So today we were right on average. Remember these temperatures, 30s into the 20s. Going into the next week, it's going to be a lot colder. We look at current temperatures around the state. We've got 28 in Lafayette, 30 in Indianapolis, and 31 in Muncie. Okay, radar across the country. We see little bits of snow that are kind of left over in this area. This is going to strengthen and bring us some small flurries looking into tomorrow. So that's something to look forward to and to prepare for. Shouldn't be too much of an accumulation. Now looking at precision cast going in through Thursday morning to 10 a.m. you see this band of snow, which is going to continually give us a little bit of flurries throughout the day. An accumulation of less than an inch is what I see coming in for us. And then you see into Friday, mostly clearing up for the snow, but it is going to be cloudy throughout the area. So tomorrow, as I said, temperature will be a high of 18, less than an inch, but it's going to be windy from the north-northwest at 22 miles per hour. So make sure you have a hood and stay bundled up because that air will make things feel even colder than they already are. So what I'm talking about for this cool down throughout the week. Normally this air stays above us with the jet stream keeping the cold air away, but it is going to be pushing down into Indiana even lower than that, cooling things down throughout the week. So prepare for those colder temperatures. Now for Valentine's Day, as I said, it's going to have some snow and be cold with a high of 19, chance of 1 to 3 inches and windier conditions. But it will be Valentine's Day, so our hearts will be warm and the temperatures will be nice. For our 7-day forecast, we've got snow on Thursday, cooler temperatures, frigid with only a high of 7 on Sunday, and then more chances of snow coming into the area from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And the highest temperature we're seeing is 26 on Tuesday.
Thanks for that, Ellen.
Absolutely.
Speaking of cold, the struggle continues for Ball State's men's basketball team.
but baseball is right around the corner and the team is confident that they will have success. NewsLink Sports is up next.
From the Ball State News Center, you're watching NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jonathan Chapman with sports from around the area. First to the hardwood. The men's basketball team traveled to Northern Illinois last night to take on the Huskies. The Cards were looking to end their 8-game losing streak. The Cardinals led for most of the first half, but allowed an 8-0 NIU run to find themselves down 35-32 at the half. The Huskies shot 70% in the second half to give Ball State their 9th loss in a row. The final score was Huskies 75, Cardinals 63. NewsLink's Peter Hood sat down with Coach James Whitford today. He talked about last night's loss and the strength of the Mid-American Conference.
Ball State men's basketball dropped their 9th consecutive game last night in DeKalb at the hands of the Northern Illinois Huskies by a final score of 75-63. Head coach James Whitford said after the game that he was pleased with the way his team played offensively, but in the end they didn't have enough down low defensively to defeat a much bigger Northern Illinois squad.
You know, it was a competitive game, and Northern Illinois is a very big physical team, and they really wore us down inside. You know, they knew Cammy wasn't playing, and they were able to get the ball inside to the box quite a bit, and that's what they did a great job of. And I thought our guys played hard. I thought our guys played well on offense. We just couldn't defend the rim well enough to win.
Now, despite the 9-game losing streak, Coach Whitford and his staff feel good about the improvements this team has made from the beginning of the season until now. It's just they're playing in a really tough conference. In fact, after last night, the conference ranked 10th in the nation out of 33 conferences in the latest RPI.
You know what's amazing about this conference is, you know, we're basically tied with the Missouri Valley Conference right now in all the power rankings. The Missouri Valley Conference has Wichita State and Northern Iowa, who are both going to be top 4 seeds in the NCAA tournament. This goes to show you the strength of our conference is the depth of our conference, and it's the best the conference has been in over a decade.
In Muncie, Peter Hood, NewsLink, Indiana.
Thanks, Peter. And while the men's basketball season is in full swing, the baseball team is getting ready to get their season underway. Today, Ball State was picked to win the Mid-American Conference West Division in the coaches' poll. Ball State tied with Kent State with 8 first-place votes. Kent State was voted to win the MAC East Division. This high preseason praise comes after the Cardinals were ranked 31st in the nation in the collegiate baseball preseason poll. Ball State went 22-4 last season against the MAC and won the regular season championship. Ball State's first game is this Friday in North Carolina when they play Kentucky. NewsLink's Audrey Kirby and myself went to Ball State's practice today and talked to Coach Rich Maloney and ace pitcher Zach Plesac about their expectations for this season.
Well, we have most of the team back, which is really neat. We started last year's championship run with 5 freshmen starting in the lineup every day, which is extremely rare. But we did lose 2 key players in Sean Godfrey, who was the MVP of our Mid-American Conference, and TJ Weir. Both those guys are draft picks, and TJ was one of the best pitchers in the league. The difference is the fact that we have about 15 new faces, all young players. About 90% of them are freshmen and pitchers. So they're going to need to play a role and not act like freshmen sooner than later if we're going to have a big season like we did last year.
This year, especially too with the field, we got to be able to get outside a little bit. Unlike last year how we were inside the whole winter. And yes, just the young guys being able to come in and work for their job. The intensity that they bring to practice every day is going to push not only the younger recruits that came in, but also the older guys to keep their position too.
And tonight, the women's basketball team is at Eastern Michigan taking on the Eagles. The Cardinals are 11-10 on the season and 7-3 against MAC opponents heading into tonight's matchup. The Eagles came in tonight's game sitting at 11-9 overall, but 4-5 against the MAC. Ball State earned their 12th victory of the season with a 72-62 victory tonight. That gives Ball State their 8th overall victory in the MAC. And then
coming up, it seems like Cinderella can never hold on to her slipper.
And Dancing with the Stars is losing yet another face. NewsLink Entertainment is up next.
From the Ball State News Center, you're watching NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Kayla Harpold with your entertainment news. Yet another Dancing with the Stars pro has announced that they will not be returning for season 20. Karina Smirnoff made an announcement via Instagram regarding her departure. Smirnoff also announced her plans to further her career as a writer. She has been on the show for the last 10 years. She joins Derek Huff and Cheryl Burke, who have also left the show. Dancing with the Stars season 20 premieres on Monday, March 16th. Walt Disney has released the second full-length trailer for the live-action adaptation of the classic fairy tale, Cinderella, starring Lily James. Cinderella has been portrayed many different ways over the years, but it hasn't been done quite like this before. In this version, we are actually introduced to Cinderella's parents before she becomes a slave to her evil stepmother. Also, Prince Charming's father, the king, teams up with the evil stepmother, portrayed by Cate Blanchett, to plot against the young Cinderella. The film is set to release on March 13th of this year. And that's all for your entertainment news.
Thanks for that, Kayla. Ellen, can you give us one last look at weather?
Yes, the weather is going to be chilly coming up, so prepare for those colder temperatures. And I know what you guys are looking forward to most, Valentine's Day, only high of 22 degrees. It's going to get down to 1 with snow and very windy, but that's okay. That's why you got love to keep you warm. Make sure you bundle up with whoever your sweetie is for Valentine's Day.
Thanks, Ellen.
Absolutely.
That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to watch tomorrow night at 6 p.m. right here on Cardinal Vision.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Have a good night.